G'day guys, how's it going? I pretty much just wanted to film a video showing you guys the things that I think of before I go out and shoot a photo. It's pretty much just going to differentiate a good photo from a bad photo. I'm just going to be sharing some tips and some processes that I go through before I actually go out and take these photos. So obviously it's all opinion based, but these 3 tips can help you in your photography. I hope they do help you. Okay, so tip number 1 would be for the composition, and this sort of applies not to every photo obviously, but say if you're taking a photo of a cityscape, or maybe you've got a photo with the cityscape in the background. So take this photo for instance. I took this one yesterday to the Shrine of Remembrance, and it's got the line down the middle of it. So this tip's going to be symmetry, which is a pretty basic one I think, but it can make a huge difference in your photos if you get it right. And actually, well, not that it's hard to get right, it's literally just having a subject in the middle of the photo with pretty much 2 even sides directly opposite. So you know what I mean, you get it, you know what symmetry is. The point being, it can improve your photos a lot. So for this photo I thought of the symmetry, so I placed the Shrine of Remembrance right in the middle of the photo. Then I had the path that leads up to the Shrine of Remembrance, I had that going down the direct center of the photo, and then obviously I had the city in the background. So I really think that helped improve the actual photo. It sort of gives it a sense of balance, I feel, as opposed to just taking the photo from a higher up angle and hoping for the best. So if you keep that in mind when you're shooting next around Melbourne or wherever you're from, whatever city you're shooting, whatever nature, keeping that symmetry, that symmetrical photo can really improve and help your photography. That's enough about symmetry. The next tip that I want to tell you guys about is lighting. For me, lighting means the natural lighting. I primarily use the natural lighting, whether that may be the natural sunlight, or the lighting of the natural environment that I mean. So that might be either neon signs at night time. I would consider that a natural lighting in terms of I haven't brought my own lighting setup. I'm not going and buying this lighting setup and using it for my photo shoot. It's just there in the natural environment. So it allows you to be a lot more creative. It can also enhance your photos. So for instance, I like shooting at sunset. I think that's a really good time to shoot, especially when you've got some clouds there and the sun reflects off the clouds. It's really important, and that can improve your photos. And also sunrise. I'm not waking up for sunrise. Sunrise, yeah, I don't know about that one, but we can try that. If you can get up that early, good on you. You can go out and do that sunrise, but I'm not doing that because we got sunset, so I don't see the point. But no, in all seriousness, sunrise can actually be really good to shoot. It's a lot more hazier, and the clouds are a lot thinner, and it's a lot softer lighting in the morning as opposed to a sunset. So if you can wake up that early, good on you. Go out, and I'd highly recommend that as another great way to get some good lighting. So tip number 2. Neon signs. Neon signs is a huge craze all over Instagram, as you probably know already. You've probably shot some. I think it's a really cool way to photograph a model. It lights them up really nicely. So it might be, say for instance, this photo I took 2 nights ago was in Chinatown. There's this light, and I placed the model in front of the lighting, and I got her to pull her hair out so that the lighting was coming behind her, and it was sort of reflecting the edges of her hair and made them look like they were red and like they were alight, which I thought was a pretty cool effect. So I think that definitely improved the photo. Rather than just taking a photo of her, say during the middle of the day or just at night in the city where it might be dark, I think having that backlighting of the neon can really help improve your photos, as well as it just being another creative way to take a photo. And I would say one more last thing about, I wouldn't say it's more of a photography tip, I'd say it's more of a post-processing tip, which is the editing. I know I've done one editing tutorial, I'm going to be doing a lot more in the future. Personally, I like to not over-edit my photos. I like it to be more about the photo itself, and editing is just enhancing it. So just keeping it simple in general, even with your photography, I think it's a good way to go. So with that being said, that's the end of the video. Alright. Got you there. Still one more tip, one more surprise tip. So this 3rd tip is kind of a sort of a mental tip, I guess, and that is actually shooting with friends, shooting with photographers who you like and who have the same interests in you. I think this is a really good way to improve your photos and take better photos. You can bounce ideas off of each other. Don't worry about or we might be getting the same photo if we go out and shoot. Don't worry about that. Life's too short to worry about that shit. It's just a photo at the end of the day. But honestly, shooting with your mates is a really good way to improve yourself as a photographer, and just like I said, bouncing those ideas off of each other, sharing different new angles of photography, different shots that you have in mind. You might say, oh hey, I've got this shot in mind, I think that it'd look really cool, and then your friend might be like, oh, I was thinking of this shot, and then you might end up with this really awesome photo that you sort of conjured simply because you shared your ideas and you were shooting together on that same day. So I think that as a last tip is pretty good, and it's one that I do often. I'm constantly shooting, as I'm sure you know. I'm shooting with my friend Mike, who's at North Borders on Instagram, and yeah, we bounce a lot of ideas off of each other. So I'd highly recommend you go out and shoot with some of your mates. So that brings us to the end of this video, guys. Let me know any feedback, any videos that you want to see from me, or just any general comments that you had about the video. That would be great, just if you could comment that down below and I'll read all through them. With that being said, we'll see you in the next video.